bags where horror lies.
Hello and welcome to Body Bags. My name is James and I'm your Sunday night reviewer. And this evening, to finish up our Killer Clown theme week, I decided to bring you, is it 1987? Maybe? I think it's 1987. Bill Raban, however it's pronounced, Blood Harvest, with the notorious Tiny Tim. So this is a 80s slasher. I'm actually, when I tend to do reviews, obviously I tend to give a lot away. I know that this film is heard of. I know Vinegar Syndrome released this a couple of years back now. Maybe a year before that in the UK you got the 88 Films release, which was actually pulled, I believe. There's some rights issues. This is a movie that's been plagued with rights issues throughout its life, really. I'm not sure if it had... Did it have a VHS release? I'm not 100% sure. It got... Maybe it did at the time. And I don't think it got another it's... The release that I know about, I think it was mid-2000s it got a DVD release, short-lived, disappeared again. And to my knowledge, the next time it appeared was maybe like 5 years ago now or something. That long ago, 4 or 5 years ago, that 88 Films put out on their slasher line and pulled it again. So as far as I'm aware, the only one you can buy at the moment, official release, is Vinegar Syndrome. But anyway, so we have someone who likes to get their clothes off a lot, Itonia Salchek, pretty much topless throughout the whole movie. But anyway, she returns back to her home, which is like this farming village, to find her parents have kind of disappeared. Her father is he's some sort of, he owns property, he's a banker or something, and they're foreclosing on a lot of, they're basically closing a lot of farms down, which is making them, they're not being very popular with the locals. So she comes back to try and like find out what the hell's going on. We get to meet the neighbor who lives there. Who's that played by? Dean West. Yeah, so you have Dean West in there. And then he's living with, I think it's his brother, slightly troubled Tiny Tim. Whoever you see him, he's in clown makeup and clown dress sort of thing. He has a few problems with how he is. And yeah, basically then throughout the movie she gets her clothes off a lot and people die a lot. Well, I think there's only a couple of on-screen deaths actually, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame for this one. I think the throat slash, it looked like kind of pretty cool, but everything's pretty much off screen after that. And she's kind of been stalked by a stocking wearing killer, basically. So he keeps popping up. You have like the neighbor love interest keep popping up, you have Tiny Tim keep popping up, and you have bodies keep popping up, and then nakedness keep popping up. And that's kind of the gist of the movie. The ending's a bit nah. Yeah, it's kind of, this is a strange movie. This isn't like your typical slasher. Bill Raban, I mean, he's pretty well known within the industry, within a self-financed B-movie realm. But I think that's all I'm going to say about this film, actually. I don't think I'm going to give anything away. As I would assume with the Vinegar Syndrome release, this is the uncut one, because there was two cut versions, and this is the uncut version. So what kind of like gore there is, you see it, and obviously it's just pretty much constant nudity, almost, from Itonia. Yeah, this is a very odd movie. It's it feels very long because it's very slow. Tiny Tim's character is eerie and creepy, especially when he's singing at the start, and he actually sings the end credits as well. I must admit, I'd heard of the name, but I didn't really know anything about Tiny Tim until like I think it was the buzz that this was getting released. So maybe it was announced in 2017, and I kind of started, who the hell's Tiny Tim? And if you know, well, yeah, you know, he's a rather eccentric character. I think he had TV shows, was it during the 60s or maybe early 70s? But this is his one and only acting credit. And it's a very strange film for him to be in. It's actually a bit of a strange film maybe for Bill Raban. I think I read somewhere that there's the kind of notion that maybe, because it's one of the cut versions is the director's cut, but it's a bit longer than the normal cut one. And I heard that, well, I read somewhere that maybe that because he normally did like PG-13 kind of movies, that he was told to go back and add nudity and gore. I kind of how the film is, I don't think, doesn't really make sense, especially with the nudity parts. Maybe the gore was added afterwards. Maybe that could have been, that's why there's not a lot of gore and everything's kind of off screen. So that could be in the realms of possibility. But well, the nudity it's like, I think you could kind of edit that in afterwards. But yeah, like this is a strange kind of slasher movie. It's not your generic 80s slasher movie. It has a kind of very strange feel to it. Yeah, it's kind of, is it more Giallo-esque? I don't think there's no big thing for the 80s. There's no POV in this, so yeah, you don't have that following the killer sort of thing. But yeah, it's probably not really Giallo-esque. Yeah, you kind of trying to figure out who the slasher is, but that's kind of most slashers, I think. What's cool with this one, there is this kind of documentary of a Tiny Tim thing. I think it was filmed in like, I can't remember when it was filmed. I haven't seen that bit for quite a while. Maybe in the it even says on the back, Tiny Tim in Niagara Falls on September the 3rd, 1987. Oh, I think that's when this film was done. But yeah, it's like, it's kind of like he's being interviewed almost like by like a fan in his car, and you just candidly hear him talking and stuff like that. And it's actually really interesting, especially like reading up on Tiny Tim a little bit and then seeing that kind of like like an interview, but just a discussion with the fan. It's actually really, really cool, and you can see he just seems a nice guy. He's like quite grateful sort of thing. It's like, shit, someone still remembers me, that sort of thing, because this guy is like really happy to see him. But anyway, I've kept that movie very open because although it's quite heard of like now, especially because like two major companies have released it now, that maybe not so many people have seen this one. So I do recommend picking it up for a watch, or like rent it somewhere. Maybe it's not anyone's going to want to own this, especially if you're really into your slashers. If you like some, say like Christmas Evil or something like that, you know, it's like a slasher but not a slasher. Maybe this is a little more slasher than that, but not your typical 80s slasher. I'm going to stop talking now. You guys enjoyed the review, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.